Yeah, guys, I think we could move on to the next idea here. Runda, what do you have cooking up?
Just the trashiest viral ideas out here. So this idea came from like my love for like trashy reality TV shows, but instead of like trashy, this is like commercial production related. So I noticed that within commercial film production, it can take a decently long time to produce from all the way from the idea conception over to pre-pro and then the post-production and all the way up to the day that you deliver that 15, 30, or 60-second commercial that finally gets launched and get aired. And then typically it's a multi-month process. It's a giant kind of chain of communications and drama that happens on the way. But not a lot of people understands that entire process takes place. And typically, like, they just see a commercial for 30 seconds and it's just like one and done. They forget about it. But this is actually a perfect opportunity, I feel, just create a reality show opportunity to kind of just showcase all the drama and all the crap that takes place within that entire commercial film production between agencies, clients, prod codes, and all the detail in between, from the kind of story and concept narrative, and also just like the in-between process and the craft of it for the audience to watch, just the behind the scenes. The first idea that comes from that whole reality TV show thought is just like a little bit more bootstrappy way to kind of get it tested, which is try to start a YouTube commercial Prodco channel, or however you name it. Maybe you are already a Prodco and you're kind of creating these short 30-second content for a medium-sized brand, and then just get their sign off to kind of publicize these initial production, and then just like maybe you add in a B-roll and then just for your own B2B content. And then in this way, you're able to at least like show the process on what your production company is like actually doing behind the scenes, instead of just like pushing out like series of case studies that takes forever to go through, or these series of pitch proposals. And then it's just like nice to see something within that 20-minute to 30-minute kind of episode segment. And then a lot of the market is actually appreciating this behind the scenes aspect, mainly because I'm going to try to share my screen actually. There was this validated content that happened in 2012. There was this TV show called The Pitch. It was on AMC. Essentially, every episode is two agencies that's competing against the business of one client to sell through an idea. And they turn it into like a whole gamified contest type of reality show format, where they're getting through all the behind the scenes and they're getting through all these like melodrama in between. And that had a decent bit of viewership in 2012 and 2013. Conversely, there was also another TV show, but it took place in China, where Tencent, one of the largest kind of like giant tech conglomerate that exists as a media company in China, they also created this like type of Chinese reality TV show on the advertising industry. So people actually do want to watch this type of behind the scenes content on how a story or content gets created as an idea, just as like a behind the scenes peek for the audience. And then especially when you look at something like Apple, when they first released a HomePod, I remember it was a big deal. The whole entire commercial was so powerful that it won the hearts of all the audiences when Apple first came out with the HomePod with that commercial. And then the behind the scenes short documentary actually got close to at least like 1 million views over the course of 6 years. But this is not even like the brand releasing the actual YouTube video. And it's just like some random YouTube channel that reposted
with 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah, 3,000 subscribers, over 900K views. So it's insane. So there's a real viewership demand for content like this. That's probably one of the most validating thing that you can find within this type of TV show market. If you expand further and get actual traction from that YouTube channel strategy, I mean, like, to go to market with it, you might not even need to start your own YouTube channel. You can have the option to buy someone else's YouTube channel that has 100K as like one of these faceless compilation videos of like good ads out there. And then they just like already have like a dedicated following of these YouTube subscribers. You can just
I think brands would love this. When I shoot, we offer BTS as kind of like a nice little add-on to their package, because they love to bring that back home and show the office. This is the behind the scenes magic. People always love to watch that stuff. And I think if you're going to do a show and you're telling me that today we're going to go and do the behind the scenes of a Chipotle ad or whatever. Now you got the brand. We're talking about the brand for an hour. If the show's an hour long, and you're telling me that a brand, I get to keep eyeballs on my brand for an hour. Where do I sign up? You'd be sold out in a week, right? 12 episodes. You have 12 brands ready to go, right? And you can look at your episode lists. BW, so and so. Oh, I want to watch the whatever one. I wonder what kind of a shit show that brand is. Like, there's a lot there, and they're buying an hour of media time that's engaging, entertaining, and people are okay with being sold and seeing how the Chipotle ham is lit up for a beauty shot and stuff like that. I think it's fun. And there's always amazing characters in advertising. That's the other thing. It's so funny. You tell someone you're in advertising, and they always say, oh, tell me more. Is it really like Mad Men? Da 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 da. Is it cutthroat? Like, there's always, everyone really wants to have a little peek in that world, because it seems like the Wild West. It was like, oh, I wish I could do that at my office, kind of a place to work, and which it is true. It's not your everyday job, and people love it. People always are interested in seeing some of the characters that are in this business. So there's a lot going for it.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, like, to just like get a list of clients sign off on these 12 episodes,
you got it in a week. You'll be sold out. Season 2.
If you have an audience.
Maybe I have an audience. True. But ultimately, if you're telling me I can walk up to Procter & Gamble and say, hey, we got a show about this side of the camera, and they're like, sure. We didn't have this before. We used to just make ads and people didn't care.
Well, here's the route that you can take without an audience, Josh. You might not necessarily actually need to build that from scratch if you already fulfilled the client side to agree to it. Because all you need, they might not even need to like pay a deposit just yet. All they really need to sign is like a memo to say they agree to like potentially do this project within the next year. And then have that list ready, prepare like a pitch deck to a Netflix, Hulu, or Tubi, even if we want to go the cheap route. But yeah, just like sell it to one of these networks, because like they're probably already spending 100 to 200K of a budget on a per episode kind of TV series or like multi-episode series that, when they see this TV show doesn't actually require that kind of budget as like a reality show, you already seen all these like case studies of other shows that was relatively successful in the past within that format. Dude, like, let's get signed. It's like $1 million kind of deal to get through the first season.
Yeah, it's true. It's really the type of thing that you could shop to both sides before there's really anything set in place. Yeah, that's That's a crazy idea, and I know that there's demand for it. Obviously, this what was the name of the show that you said before? The Pitch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great proof of traction. Oh yeah, I would say this is a 10 out of 10 idea.
We all remember soap operas, right?
Of course.
Yeah, those were invented by the soap companies. Entertain the people at home in the daytime in between washing and drying. It was invented by brands to entertain the housekeepers, the homebodies that are and cleaning in the afternoons. Sponsored by Dove, sponsored by, P&G to sell their products. So it's been done before.
They were directly producing the content in the beginning.
Well, at an arm's length, they would go through this, so it's not in-house, because back in 1962, there was no such thing. And their idea was having a long format television commercial. Hence the soap opera.
I had no idea about that.
Brands make their own content to sell themselves in a refreshing new way. And this is this is in the same footprint as that.
That's awesome. I had no idea.
P&G alone could buy a whole year because they have like 62 brands. They could own it for the year and just go through 6 different products. Like you have the last 3 episodes are an episodic what if, finale. Like, God, I've watched a lot of dead air as I'm watching The Bachelor or any of those cooking shows. Like, just get to it. You can extend
55 minutes long per episode.
You can milk it. Exactly. And the winner is the commercial break.
And I would argue right now, like today, I'm not sure about like next couple, like within the next 5 years, it will be the same. But right now, I would say the production environment is like the perfect time to do this type of stuff, because right now it's generally accepted with like all these additional streaming platforms that are producing their own shows. Initially, the model for creating shows and having talents or stars in these shows, it used to be like, okay, here's the studio money up front, and then we're paying like a subsequent amount of like licensing fees to the actors. Right now, what Netflix have made the market is that, oh, you're just getting this money up front. There's no licensing fees. They just own all the rights and licenses for them to like keep on airing the show. That entire structure has been like disseminated. So what's great is as producers, we're like these show producers, the court is like on our side on just like limiting these costs and then actually get something started.
That's really interesting.